Are you running towards something in your future, or are you simply running away from your past? It's the language that shows up when you're interviewing, when you're networking, and most importantly, it is the language that is showing up in your brain. If you're job searching right now, you're in the right place. Welcome to Land Your Next Job, the show that helps you move from ghosting and rejection to interviews and offers. I'm Erica Parker Price, a certified career coach with a background in tech who has spent nearly a decade helping professionals land roles at companies like Microsoft, Google, and mission-driven organizations. Each week, I share what's actually working in today's job market, from LinkedIn and networking to how AI is reshaping hiring. You'll get clear strategies and inspiration so you can run this marathon without burnout or guesswork. Follow the show and let's land your next job together. Hi, and welcome. Happy Monday. This is Erica Parker Price. And today what we're talking about is your motivation in what you're planning to take as your next step. And specifically, is that a negative motivation or a positive motivation? I was first introduced to the concept of running towards something versus running away when I was doing training in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. It's something that informs the coaching that I do. As a coach, I've had a chance to get trained in all kinds of different modalities, and this particular one was very centered around language. As a writer, I think it's something that spoke to me for that reason. But the words around this concept, it's very simple. Are you running towards something in your future, or are you simply running away from your past? And at first glance, I think that a lot of people will say that this isn't fully your decision, right? That maybe things have happened to you that were not in your control, that were not your choice, that means that you are naturally running away. So for example, if you are in a position where your job has been eliminated, you have been laid off, then that might be something that you're running away from. That is true, but we can also find a way to allow you to run towards something. And we're going to talk about why that is important. The biggest reason to pay attention to this is that one of them is fueled by negative thoughts and feelings, and the other is fueled by positive thoughts and feelings. Anybody who has listened to any of my episodes on positive intelligence, I did 11 episodes on them back starting, I think, episode number 9, knows how I believe in the power, not of toxic positivity, not in just positive thinking your way into everything, but the power of what we can create and how we are our best selves when we're coming from a positive place. And by positive, I mean when you're coming from a place of curiosity, creativity, innovation, laser-focused action. All of those things are on the positive side. But when you're coming from the negative side, when you are running away from something, you are coming from one of the negative emotions. Our top 5 negative emotions are anger, sadness, hurt, fear, and guilt. I would say the ones that I run into most commonly with my clients when they really are in this position of running away from, I would say it's anger, hurt, and fear are probably the ones that come up most often, but it can be any variety of that. But when you're coming from that negative place, when you are running away from something, what happens is it shows up in everything that you do. And when I say it shows up in everything you do, I mean when you're interviewing, when you're networking, even when you are applying for a job. Now, if you just have to submit, easy apply and send a resume, okay, maybe it doesn't because maybe you wrote that resume at a different place. But remember, you're frequently getting asked those questions while you're doing the application. And then if you're following my strategy, the dual pipeline strategy that I teach, you're also working to find a network connection to get you to that job. Now, what is your motivation? Is it, I am out of work, I was laid off from a job, and I just need to find something. I need to find something fast. Is that the motivation that is showing up? Because what that is all pure negative running away from emotion that is in there. So what I want to encourage you is to start thinking about what you are running towards and to start thinking about it in a way that it eventually will override what you are running away from. So if somebody were to ask you, why do you work at this company? I want you to think about your honest answer to that question. And I know you wouldn't say these out loud, but is it really, hey, I'm kind of desperate, I need a job? Or can you get to the place where you are thinking about this as you're a great company to work for, you're doing exciting things, I love the products that you create and what they do for your users? How can you get yourself to that point where you can see what it is that you want to go towards? And this may be for specific jobs, but it may also be in general. So what I'm asking you to do here really is to think about, what is the best reason that you're looking for a job? Maybe this wasn't something you planned. Maybe this is not the timing that you would have ordered for yourself. But now that it's there, how can we move you from, I am simply in this job search because somebody foisted this upon me, to the reason that I'm doing this is that this is the most exciting time in my industry. I'm doing this because I know I thrive under great leadership and I am looking for that. I am doing this because I want to make an impact in this particular business and I know I can do that in the right place. So what I'm doing is encouraging you to change your language, and not just change it in the interview, but change it when you're talking to other people and start rewiring it in your brain. Those thoughts that we have in our brain that run on repeat, they become very convincing to us. And I know we all think that because we had a thought, it is true. I will tell you, 100% not. Your brain offers you all kinds of thoughts all day long that are not true. Think of the times when you have thought, oh my gosh, I am going to freeze to death out here. Are you really going to freeze to death? No, probably not. It may be a cold winter day, but you're probably not going to. You may think, I am going to melt into my chair if I have to sit in this heat any longer. Again, that's a thought that your brain offered you that is completely not true. So those are extreme weather examples, but what I'm telling you is that your brain is offering you all kinds of thought errors all day long. So don't believe everything that your brain is telling you. And realize that you can move towards intentional thoughts of what it is that you are running towards. I saw a case recently with a client who was interviewing, and she was very honest with me in the interview prep that we were doing that she was not in love with the position that she was interviewing for. But she was in a space where she felt her job was in jeopardy and she thought it was important that she be looking. So we worked to get her answers together, and she went and did the interview. Now, she fully acknowledged there were a couple areas that she could have done better on. And this is where it's actually different than the interview that most people do. She was actually told in the interview that she wasn't going to be advancing. And I will say she was brave on this one because she asked for feedback right then and there. And that can be tough to do, right? You've been told you're not advancing. You know it's because of the performance that you just gave in that last 30 minutes or however long it was. But she was brave and she asked for feedback. And I don't remember exactly what the words were that were given, but it was along the lines of, I'm not sure that you're the right person for this job. And so we had a conversation about it and we talked about, what does that really mean? And I told her, I can't be in that woman's head. I can't know how that interview actually went for you. But my guess is that she knows you don't want the job, which was the truth, right? She was in that interview because she knows she needs to leave the company that she's at right now because she has fear that her job is going to be eliminated. While that may all be true, what needs to show up in the interview is what you're running towards in your future, what you think you can do in this new company. So remember, when you are interviewing, All of the company is looking for is, are you the type of person that can solve their problem? Frequently, they're going to rely on what you have done in your previous jobs to start to see if you can do that work that you were doing there, if you can transfer it over to this company. In this particular case, even though the words weren't explicitly used, the energy that was coming off was that this person was running away from a job and that there really wasn't anything that they were running towards. It wasn't the company, the title, the department. And quite frankly, I think it's okay to not advance in that situation, because it's probably an accurate read that this probably is not the right fit for you. And that may be another way to use this concept of, are you running towards or running away? If while you're applying for jobs, you can't even articulate or even think what it is that you like about this, then maybe it's not the right one. Now, I realize some people are going to say, hey, I just need a paycheck. And that's okay. That can be what you're running towards. I'm not saying that every job has to be your life's ambition, that this is going to be the greatest work that you ever do. Sometimes it is literally just a paycheck, and that can be what you're running towards. I am running towards this because this is a stable paycheck that's going to keep a roof over my head and allow me to feed my family and handle my responsibilities. That's okay. That can be what you're running towards. And so what I'm talking about here is, how can you see into the future to see what it is that you be going towards? But the most important thing that I want you to take away from this is that it's really your language. And it's the language that shows up when you're interviewing. It shows up when you're networking, when you're talking with colleagues and new people that you've met. And most importantly, it is the language that is showing up in your brain. So I would encourage you to really think about, what is it that you're running towards? The world is changing at a very fast pace right now, no matter what area you're in, which also means that there's a lot of brand new things out there. There's a lot of brand new opportunities. So how can you motivate yourself around that so that you are propelling yourself in that forward motion from a positive perspective? That is all I have for you today. So think about it as you're going through your week. In what areas are you running towards something? And in what areas do you need to transform the thinking that you have? And it may not just be job search related, right? This could be something that's showing up in your family, in your personal life. But how do you convert that thinking so that you can be propelling yourself forward, so that you can always be running towards something? It is a long race. We have talked about it on past episodes. We don't know the length of this race, right? We don't know if it's a sprint, if it's a marathon, if it's a triathlon, if it's an ultra marathon. Who knows? But I want you to keep moving in that toward direction. Have a great week. That's a wrap for this week on Land Your Next Job. If this episode helped, please leave a quick review and subscribe wherever you listen. Share it with a friend in transition, and I'll see you next Monday. Let's land your next job together.